Yeah.
We got London on the track.
This is all God's doing, man, you can't plan it. But if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic.
Excitement, disappointment, heartbreak. Per usual, there are a lot of different words that can be used to describe the first week of the NBA, and the incredible storylines remain at an all-time high. While some teams look to be absolutely pathetic this season, some squads have the potential to be incredible. When zeroing in on particular players who will shape the league's landscape in 2018, however, there are a few that are clearly playing for more than wins and losses, as their reputation and even legacy may hang in the balance of their team's performance. In this video, I will go through 4 players from all different stages of their career and explain why they have the most to prove in the year 2018. So what is good, people's kid? It's your boy Kobe back with another video, and I hope you guys are having a blessed day. Nothing really to add apart from the what's up, so with that said, let's just get straight into it. Number 4, Lonzo Ball, Los Angeles Lakers. Lonzo. We must always start with that man, Lonzo. It may seem absurd to put a 19-year-old rookie on a list that speaks to the players most needing to prove something, but the spotlight has been placed on him in a manner that has not been seen since probably LeBron James. Due to all the media attention focused largely on Ball thanks to his father, fans from both a loving and hating perspective have been waiting to see what Lonzo could do. With Laker fans in particular though, Lonzo's success is also critical to relieving any anxiety felt from future triumphs of D'Angelo Russell and the Brooklyn Nets, as Magic boldly traded away the talented guard in the summer. Having said this, after the first 2 games of Lonzo's NBA career, I think there are both positive and negative conclusions to be had. Starting with the bad before getting to the good, Lonzo was pretty much shut down in the Lakers opener by Patrick Beverley and the Los Angeles Clippers from an offensive standpoint, and had a few moments of indecisiveness when working in the pick and roll. Although you could argue the intensity of Beverley's effort on defense made Ball a bit passive, I personally think taking only 6 shots is unacceptable for a team who is going to need nightly scoring production from the point guard position. Yet even in that disaster, Lonzo continued to show his ability to move the ball up the court with the patented quick zip passes, whether off a rebound or off a score from the Clippers. And if we fast forward another 24 hours, Lonzo had a much more impressive performance against the Suns by scoring 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists in a game that saw him take nearly 23 shots. Of course, haters will immediately point out Phoenix is one of the worst teams in the NBA, but at the end of the day, very few players and very few rookies have ever reached the stat line that Ball just produced, regardless of the NBA competition. As it stands, the Jason Kidd comparisons do not seem totally out of reach for the Lakers' young guard, and he might actually have a better scoring punch than Kidd if he can manage to overcome his funky shot form. Even though he is nowhere near of a defender the Bucks coach was in his heyday, Lonzo's passing and on-court instincts to get teammates good looks could help him secure this year's NBA Rookie of the Year award. Number 3, Carmelo Anthony, Oklahoma City Thunder. For the past 2 years or so, I feel like Carmelo has been stuck on a lifeboat waiting for some organization to come rescue him from a situation as a Knick. But before I get too understanding of Anthony's failures in New York, there is no way I'm going to let him completely off the hook. As I've mentioned before on this channel, it has been 4 painfully long years since Carmelo has made it to the NBA playoffs. And without getting too deep in the whole saga between him and the Knick organization, his legacy currently points towards one that puts him as one of the biggest losing stars in NBA history. Yet a new opportunity has arisen for Anthony, and it consists of having the pleasure to call Russell Westbrook and Paul George his teammates in Oklahoma City. While the Big Three may not be as imposing as Miami's in 2010, or as perfectly fitting as Boston's in 2008, there is a lot of optimism to be had for a team that carries such top-heavy talent. In OKC's opener, we were able to catch a first glimpse of how they plan to operate with both Melo and George as forwards in the lineup. Despite Melo being guilty of holding on to the ball for too long at times like he did in New York the first 2 games, you had to love seeing the wide open spot-up 3-point opportunities he was getting as a result of Westbrook's penetration. I know Olympic Anthony isn't the most dominant version of Carmelo from a versatile standpoint, but man can it be effective when handled correctly. Granted, we will soon learn more on how truly effective it can be when they go up against KD and the Golden State Warriors, yet there is still plenty of promise for success this year regardless. The chance for Carmelo to rewrite the script here as a player who has underachieved his entire career is sneakily up for grabs. Even without a championship trophy at season's end, a couple classic Melo performances in games that actually matter come postseason time will not only do wonders for OKC, but for the fans and sports analysts whose perception of him has faltered over the years. Number 2, Isaiah Thomas, Cleveland Cavaliers. It is actually funny that a man who has proved himself time and time again continues to be doubted time and time again. Truthfully, I really considered putting Thomas at number 1 here, solely because of how disrespectful I felt his name was being tossed around towards the final stretch of the NBA offseason. Of course, the blockbuster heard around the world that sent Kyrie to Boston greatly contributed to the discussion of Thomas's health, as it was reported that the Celtics' concern over Isaiah's hip was a partial motivation for parting ways with him in August. While Isaiah clearly felt some type of way from the way he was treated from Danny Ainge and the Celtics brass, the best revenge will be showing that he is far from damaged goods when he returns to the lineup at the start of 2018. Putting my own spin on this, I have to ask, do people forget this man averaged 28.9 points per game on 46% from the field on the number 1 team in the East for an entire NBA season? Even if he does come back at 85 to 90%, you are still getting a world-class scorer that can drop 30 just about any night. In my opinion, the biggest concern for Thomas and his success is whether he will actually get the meaningful touches to retain his All-NBA status when he returns. D Wade and D Rose look like they still have something left in the tank, and Kevin Love demands a good chunk of touches when he's on the court as well. Combine LeBron and the Cavs' dead-eye shooters of Korver, J.R. Smith, and Jay Crowder, and there could be an issue for Isaiah to really settle into his own with the same type of autonomy he had playing in Boston. And what makes this conundrum even more interesting is knowing that Wade, Rose, and Thomas are all playing for new contracts next season. From that standpoint, if Isaiah really cares about getting paid, he will have to make sure his numbers warrant the type of money he will be looking for. But even taking that in consideration, probably the best solution for Isaiah to prove teams and fans wrong again would be for the Cavs to win the NBA title with him playing a significant role. So while he'll have to wait a bit to put this plan into action, Cavs fans and NBA fans in general should wait on pins and needles to see if the old IT will return back to form. Number 1. Kyrie Irving, Boston Celtics. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyrie Irving is without a doubt the number 1 player with the most to prove in 2018, and the narrative just got a bit more interesting this past week. Now, it goes without saying, the Gordon Hayward injury was incredibly gruesome, and I wish him well for his inevitable rehab and return. But with him being almost certainly out for the season, it's hard not to think of the well-known phrase, "be careful what you wish for," in regards to Kyrie's situation. For those who still question why Irving requested a trade from the Cavs, understand the long and short of it is pretty much the fact that Kyrie wanted to be the man of an NBA franchise. And while he has gotten his wish, it is now on him and him alone to lead a very young Celtics team deep into the NBA playoffs. You see, Kyrie Irving is one of the hardest players in the league to quantify how good he really is when comparing him to other stars. Because while he has proven to be one of the best, if not the best big-time performers in the NBA, he has come up short when asked to lead an NBA franchise for an 82-game regular season. Even during the splatter of games that LeBron did not play in their 3-year stretch together, Irving's record without James is pretty eye-opening. So to me, there are 3 major things Kyrie will prove to us what he can do and what he cannot do as an NBA player this year. Number 1, can he shoulder the scoring load at an elite level as the number 1 option? For all the people in the comments on my Kyrie Irving trade video downplaying how many points Isaiah averaged last year by saying it was a result of his heavy usage rate on the Celtics, this point is for you. Because with a very inexperienced roster this year, and all the shot opportunities his heart desires, there is absolutely no reason why Kyrie can't put up the same, if not better numbers, if this theory were to be true. Number 2, will Irving finally show he can be a consistent floor general? As anyone who has followed Kyrie at all, one of the biggest knocks on him as a player has been that he doesn't make the teammates around him better. During his time in Cleveland, Irving was fortunate to be playing with one of the greatest floor generals in NBA history, so his facilitating was not as incredibly important to the Cavs' overall success. But now, it could be the difference for the Celtics and their chances to advance through the Eastern Conference playoffs. Finally, the last thing that Kyrie will prove is whether he is the best point guard in the Eastern Conference. As the Wizards' John Wall has been the number 1 option now for 7 years, Irving can now be more accurately compared to Wall head-to-head as their situations are far more similar. Beforehand, whether you preferred Wall or Irving as the East's top point guard, it was hard to really measure how good Irving was while playing alongside a player who was known for getting to the finals and making his teammates better. If Irving is as good as we've been led to believe, here's the ultimate test to see how he ranks against a player who has proven his franchise player status year after year. So although we don't know what exactly 2018 has planned for Kyrie, it's going to be interesting to see if he can deliver to Celtic Nation. Anyways guys, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more basketball videos on the regular. I try to post a new video about every week or so. Let me hear your thoughts as well. Which NBA player do you think has the most to prove in 2018? Comment below with your thoughts. With that said, hope everyone has a great rest of the day or night or whenever you're watching this. I'll be back at it soon. Peace.